Hi, my name is Austin Cokerhans, and I wanted to talk a little bit with you today about how bad officiating, especially in the NFL, is ruining the game of football. First of all, I wanted to ask a question. Has the team that you root for this year lost the game due to a terrible call by the officials? I've watched several games this year, and I've noticed that the officiating has been consistently bad in almost every single game. So I want to talk about the three reasons why bad officiating is ruining the NFL. The first reason is having a huge impact on the games. For example, there's been pass interferences called on third downs, which result in a first down. Or there's been touchdowns that have been called back due to questionable calls, whether that's a holding or whether that's an offensive pass interference. There's a lot of calls on big downs, third downs, and fourth downs that are being called, and they're questionable penalties, which is having a huge impact on the game. For example, I was watching the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play the Seattle Seahawks a couple weeks ago, and the Seattle running back fumbled the ball before his knee hit. And Tampa Bay recovered the fumble and started running towards the end zone, and they were sure to score, but the ref blew it dead before he could get in, and they said that they wanted to review the fumble first. So they blew the play dead, and they reviewed it, and he clearly did fumble, and Tampa Bay recovered it. But since they blew the play dead, they couldn't call a touchdown. And so that's minus 7 points for Tampa Bay. And the irony about this, they lost by less than 7 points to the Seattle Seahawks. So ultimately, that call cost them the game. And there's another example I wanted to bring up, which kind of illustrates that as well. And everyone's kind of knows about this one. It's when the Rams played the Saints last year in the NFC Championship game. The Saints are in the fourth quarter. They're marching down the field to win the game and eventually go to the Super Bowl. And Drew Brees throws a pass, and his receiver gets taken out by the defensive player. So it's an obvious pass interference. The ref's standing right there, and it's not called. And it's a fourth down. And so the Saints ultimately lose the game with a blatant pass interference that wasn't called. And if they get that call, they eventually go in the score, and they play the Patriots in the Super Bowl. And who knows the outcome of the Super Bowl after that call is made. There's just huge plays and huge calls have been determined by the officiating this year in the NFL. The second point I wanted to bring up is that there's no consistency with the calls. If you think about it, players like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, they get this special treatment when they play the game of football. If they ever get hit in the head, or if they always get all the late hit calls. The rookies and the players who don't have as big of a name identity, they don't get the big calls. And it's hurting the game of football when the better players are getting the special treatment. For example, look, the Browns were playing the Patriots on Sunday, and it was the fourth quarter, and the Browns had committed 14 penalties that game, and the Patriots committed zero. So the 14-0 disparity in the fourth quarter football game, and you can't honestly believe that the Patriots didn't commit a single penalty the entire game. So that just doesn't look good on the NFL, and it doesn't look good if you're a Browns fan and you want a fair game. And that leads me into my last, third and final point, which is there's a lack of trust developing between fans. If the integrity of the game becomes compromised, fans become disinterested and they quit watching the games. Fans want the athletes to decide the outcome of the game out there on the field. They want the refs to have a little say as possible. In my opinion, refs are just there to moderate the game, make sure things are consistent and both teams are being ref the exact same way. And when fans see that their team is, I don't know, that's being a little bit rigged, a little shady, they don't really have an interest in watching anymore because they don't really believe they're having a fair chance of their team winning the game. So again, the three reasons are the huge impact that these refs are having on a game, the lack of consistency, and the lack of trust between the fans is really hurting the NFL, and the officials are getting a bad name because of it, and people are starting to notice. And I think that it's up to us as football fans, or even just sport fans in general, to hold these officials accountable by talking about these issues and spreading awareness. And so we can have a clean game full of integrity that all of us can enjoy. So when our team plays these big name teams, we believe we have a fair chance and everyone has a good time. Thank you.